Hello, friends. I hope you are healthy and finding happiness in everyday's moments. Today's video, I'm sharing how we nature study. This frog life cycle nature study is completely child-led. Upon visiting a pond in our neighborhood, we found thousands of tadpoles. Now, we did have a summer pond unit study last summer. We studied the life cycle of a frog, so I didn't plan for this study again so soon, but I do believe in the child being the driver of their education, so I'm just here to follow along this learning adventure and supply resources as needed. We visited the pond 4 or 5 times over a week and a half span, maybe a little less. And the first days we were able to observe 2 stages, and by our last visit, we were able to spot 4 stages. Besides looking for life cycles, we observed eating habits. We found tadpoles eating algae, some eating dead insects and crustaceans, and of course, we played with mud, we dug holes, transferring and carrying buckets of water. So every time we went back to the pond we observed, we jotted down our observations, explored the area a little more, and made the most of our neighborhood pond. Following every visit to the pond, we go home to supplement our outdoor learning with a variety of resources we own. And so today I'm going to share how we did that and the resources that we used. And I'll start going through the books that we used. And so, of course, Nature Anatomy by the Julia Rothman Collection. This always serves as inspiration for journaling. And I've said in the past that I do find that this has enough information for referencing for my younger children. My teenage daughter and I were inspired to journal this life cycle of a frog spread. And all that we used was the spread. We used watercolor pencils and a black pen for the copywork. I went ahead and journaled this in Bella's nature journal, and my daughter is actually using loose watercolor paper to journal because her plan is to learn how to bind or stitch a personalized journal. Of course, that won't be until she has gathered a collection of journal entries, but I'm really excited for that project and to see how it turns out. Also, in Bella's journal, I wrote down our observations at the pond. And Bella dictated and I wrote it out for her. It's too much handwriting for her. And also, Bella and I put together a Venn diagram inspired by this toad versus frog spread. We're all familiar with a Venn diagram, so here we are recording and discussing a lot of the differences and the similarities between the toad and a frog. And we did this with the same dictation method. We always have to have a non-fiction reference book, eyewitness book, amphibian. The photographs are marvelous. My littles ooh and ah over every spread in this book. There's a lot more educational information here than just frogs and toads, but we mostly reference to the page on the metamorphosis. And this should be of no surprise if you've been here a while, a Nat Geo Kids sticker activity book. This series of books, they're an all-time favorite unschooling resource. And so we do the same here where we tab off the respective pages, and my kids really just eat up this resource. They can't get enough of it. And for coloring with an educational twist, Dover Coloring Books, again, another favorite resource. And so I also like to supplement with a video or documentary on the subject, especially while the kids are working through those activity or coloring books. And of course, hands-on activities, which is my favorite method for teaching the younger children, ages toddler through preschool. This here is for a fun hands-on lesson on the life cycle of a frog, and I paired that with frog life cycle figures, little plastic figures that we use to again discuss and for a lot of pretend play. 3-part cards are one of my favorite tools for language development for that same age toddler through preschool. There are 3-part cards on the life cycle of a frog, and so we discuss each stage as we also work a matching exercise. And this set also is a variation of a trivia card game. So I ask the blank is metamorphosing to look like an adult frog, and the kids will fill in the blank and match it to the respective stage. And we couldn't end a frog study without, of course, learning about the anatomy of a frog. This printable is from Green Urban Creative on Etsy, and links to everything mentioned in this video will be in the description box below. And so I laminated every page just so that we can pair it with a dry erase marker and extend the life of this printable. And I've also mentioned before how much we love these Montessori inspired parts of puzzles, and we pair that with parts of 3-part cards. And I love this method for anatomy. The littles seem to enjoy it a lot and retain the information. And so once we've matched the puzzle body part to the respective card, then they can go ahead and complete the puzzle. And I am going to link a video down below on 3-part cards and how I give a lesson within a what's called 3-period lesson. It's an older video, so please bear with the footage, but if you're interested in knowing how I teach a lesson using these tools, then that video will be linked down below. So this is the usual flow of a child-led nature study in our home. We enjoy nature studies as a family so much more when we ditch that curriculum box and just head outdoors. And so, friends, I'll leave you with this quote by Charlotte Mason. And I quote, "We were all meant to be naturalists, each in his degree, and it is inexcusable to live in a world so full of the marvels of plant and animal life and to care for none of these things."